Welcome to Q&A with Doc, and tonight we're going to be talking about a couple things. First is Erica, my fiance, got back from Montreal, so I was kind of lost without her for about a week or so. Wasn't sleeping a whole lot, so I was sitting in front of my computer thinking about things that I've done over the last 6 months in terms of the pregnancy research that I've wanted to do and the actual numbers that I had. And I don't know if, for those of you who are patients of mine, while I've been down in Florida, you'll all know that I take posture photos. And those posture photos, I use an application that you can get in the iTunes store. It cost me like, I don't know, $10, and then every number of screenings, say 100 screenings or so, I have to pay a little bit more in order to get credits for the application. But it's been worth it. It tells me some things about how what I'm doing is impacting people's posture. Also lets me know that the stretching and the exercise that I ask my patients to do really does make a difference. Because I've noticed that if I have patients who really don't follow through with their exercises well, they don't get the results, especially with their forward head carriage, that my patients who do their towel rolls get. So one of the things that I've always wanted to know, since especially in my practice I see a lot of expecting moms, is how does posture change through pregnancy, and then what is the impact of chiropractic on those changes, and does that even make a difference? Is something like posture screening a way to be able to predict if we have problems with how the baby is going to sit inside mom, or is it going to predict how the delivery will go? And so I started putting all that information together. Erica was gone, so I could stay up till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning just crunching numbers and didn't have anybody to remind me to go to bed. So a lot of short nights. But I found some interesting things. One of them was that there does seem to be a correlation, and I've got to look at this a little bit further, so I haven't published it yet. But there does seem to be a correlation between certain measurements of posture and how a pregnancy presents in my office. I got the opportunity to see that over half of the pregnancies that I see in the office come in with babies who aren't sitting in the right position. So that was a surprise to me. We've had 20 deliveries in the last 6 months. I've seen 29 expecting moms, and just around half of those moms who came in had babies who were either laying sideways in transverse lie, lying upside down in breech position, or were sunny side up in what we call OP position. That means that the baby's head, the back of the head is called the occiput, is posterior, is on the back part of the mom's uterus. So kind of they call it a sunny side up baby, so you know the face is up towards where mom's belly button is. That's a very tough pregnancy. It's a very difficult delivery. The optimal position for a baby is to be either on the side, on the left with the occiput facing mom's belly button, or on the right, in fewer cases, with the occiput facing mom's belly button. So just straight OP is a tough one. And we think that a lot of those positioning problems with OP might be able to be prevented. I always give my expecting moms 4 exercises to do. They do on the ball a hip tilt side to side, forward and back, make a figure 8 with their bum, and then they do crawling. And there's a website called Spinning Babies that really has good exercises, does a lot of inversion postures for babies who need to get into the right positioning. And one of the ones that I do a lot is the crawling on all hands and knees on all fours for 10 to 15 minutes every day. If you think about how most women in our society are employed, you know, if you think about, oh gosh, the same thing goes for men. We've got a lot of sitting jobs in our society, and then when we get home, we do a lot of sitting in front of direct TV and flipping through channels and whatever. So that kind of posture, where we're sitting back on our tailbones, especially for women, allows the whole pelvis hole to go from like this to pass the baby through into something more like this. One of my mentors, Claudia Onrig, says that it's like kind of like going from trying to squeeze a soccer ball through a football shape, and that just doesn't work. So the baby just kind of moves to where they have room to, and that's usually that OP positioning. So I thought it was interesting that for all of those those malpositions, we're going to call it. The Webster technique that I do, so far I haven't had a single baby who didn't go head down. We've had some that stayed OP and delivered that way, but so far we haven't had any breech pregnancies in the last 20 end up just staying that direction. I did have one interesting case though, and this leads me to the next part of what I wanted to talk about. I did have one case, there was one of about 3 where I've had this happen, where a baby will go head down after being breech or transverse and then go back up and then go head down and go back up. The only delivery that we've had that was an emergency C-section for positioning, she came in, I got about 2 adjustments with her, and the baby went head down. She went in for her induction, and when they stripped the membranes, water broke. It was a lot of fluid, and the baby actually turned during that process, and the cord came out first, what's called a prolapse cord. That's an emergency situation. So the baby was already kind of in the canal, wedged in, and they had to pull him back out. So from a positioning standpoint, as far as being head up and head down, we do find a lot of success with Webster technique. So the interesting thing is that when I was looking at posture and whether or not that correlated with how those babies were presenting, I found that there was a correlation. I'll talk more about after I publish the information, like how strong of correlation it was, which parts of the anatomy we were able to measure and predict whether or not we were going to have issues with positioning. But so far, from a preliminary data standpoint, it's showing a trend where there might be a correlation between posture and how a woman presents in pregnancy with her baby. So I thought that was pretty cool.